When you're making decisions for your small business, what do you turn to? I mean, maybe you first kind of look at your gut and figure out how you feel about something, or maybe you turn to another friend who owns a small business and you ask them for your opinion. But at the end of the day, there is something that you need to do and probably aren't that's going to help you make these decisions with a lot of confidence. And that's track your KPIs. But this might be the first time that you're hearing that combination of letters and you're kind of thinking like, cool, 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 what are KPIs? And if that thought just popped into your head, then this video is for you. Hi, my name is Taylor and I'm one of the founders here at Enji. And in this video, I'm going to help you understand what KPIs are, how to set them, and what to do with them so you're not just collecting numbers. So let's start with talking about what KPIs are and why they are important. And KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator. But if that feels a little bit intimidating, then I want you to just think of them as numbers or insights or metrics. I mean, seriously, whatever floats your boat. But KPIs are important because they do two really awesome things for you. The first thing that they do is they help you understand the health of your business. And the second thing they do is they help you understand the impact of your marketing. And both are important because the health of your business is basically your bottom line. Like, is your business making enough money? And you also want to know the impact of your marketing because you want to know if the time, the money, the energy that you are spending on marketing is worth it. And you want to know where your marketing is working so that you can do more of that. So what are some examples of KPIs? And really, there are a lot of KPIs out there, but you don't have to know about all of them, but I want to just talk through some of the common KPIs that small business owners track. So on the sales side, some sales KPIs would be things like your revenue, the number of leads you have, or your booked leads. On the website side, you're talking about website visitors or bounce rate and page views. And some examples of social media KPIs would be your follower count, your engagement rate, and your views. With email marketing, we're talking about the size of your list, your open rate, and your click-through rate. And with advertising, we're talking about things like impressions, cost per click, and conversions. And that's seriously like a very small list of examples, but I really don't want even that small list to scare you because, like I said, you don't need to track a million KPIs. Remember, you just need to track the KPIs that help you understand the health of your business and the impact of your marketing. So how do you actually set KPIs? And there are two things that I look at to figure out what KPIs are good for you to set and start with. And those two places are your goals and your marketing channels. Now, your goals are one of the things that I like to look at because this is the stuff that you are working toward, and you should be measuring your progress toward your goals. And the marketing channels are really helpful because these are the places that you are doing your marketing. And so these are the places that you are investing your time, your money, and energy. And so these are the things that you need to know how effective or not they are. So let's talk through an example. And let's say that your goal is to do a better job at SEO and your main marketing channel is your blog. Then you probably would want to know the answers to a couple questions like if people are finding you through your blog or how many keywords do you rank for. So you would track KPIs like website visitors because you want to see this number go up, right? Like if you're doing a better job at your SEO, then more people should be coming to your website. Then you might also want to track something like the percentage or the number of those website visitors that found you organically versus through a paid like ad channel. Then you could track how many how many keywords you rank for, specifically how many are you ranking for on page one, but then overall so that you can track your progress over time. And maybe you also want to track page views because you're interested in knowing whether or not one website visitor actually goes to multiple pages of your website. So I know that there's a little bit of guesswork here, but you should ask yourself the questions about what it is you want to know. And I promise you there is definitely a KPI for you to track. So that brings us to the point where you're probably wondering how to actually track these new KPIs that you have learned about. And really, there are two ways. The first way is good for small business owners who are really comfortable working in spreadsheets. And the second way is for the rest of us. So if you're the first person who loves working in spreadsheets, then set one up with the months running across the top as your rows, and then your KPIs running down the left to define your columns. Actually, I said that backwards. Months define your columns, and then along the left defines your rows. And then you can just enter in your data and do whatever fancy equations that you want from there. See, I told you, actually, this is where I say clearly not a spreadsheet person. Because if you are like me and all you can do is highlight cells to get a sum in a spreadsheet, then the second way is for you. And the second way is to use Enji, because it is the easiest way for you to track KPIs. And let me show you how to do that. I'm here in one of my Enji accounts on the Performance tab, and this is where you can use Enji to track your KPIs. Now, we talked about some of the examples of different KPIs you could track, and Enji has a pretty exhaustive list of things that you could think about. And like I said earlier, no one on the planet is telling you to track all of these things, but if you're sitting there and you're like, I have no idea about where I would even start, then you can scope out these categories and the KPIs that are under them, so that when you're thinking about your goals and your marketing channels, this is where you can start to build things out. Now, if you want to create a chart using one of these KPIs, it's super simple. You just click into the KPI and then hit create chart. And then over here, you're going to see it. This is the new one that we just created. But what makes Enji really cool is that it's as easy as a spreadsheet in terms of entering in some numbers, right? Like I can just drop in the things here for any KPIs that I'm going to manually track. But Enji actually has a lot of direct integrations so that you don't have to manually enter in these numbers every month. And so we have direct integrations to Google Analytics, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn business pages, and Pinterest, so that those numbers for KPIs that you're tracking will automatically load into your account on KPI day, which is the first day of every month. And that's just something that we celebrate in the Enji community. So in the end, whether or not you're manually entering your numbers or you're using the direct integrations, you get these charts that visualize your data. Again, for the folks who are not really great at spreadsheets and the numbers just don't really tell us anything the more we have, these charts and graphs communicate so much to us about where our marketing is working and where it's not in such a short amount of time. Okay, so the last thing I want to cover in this video is what to do with the information that you see after you start to track your KPIs. And I'll keep this to my top and high level tips. But what I want you to do is look for the peaks and the valleys in your numbers, and then go scope out what you were doing on the marketing side of things during those peaks and valleys, as well as leading up to it. Because where you see good spikes, then that means your marketing was working. And where you see valleys, that means that if you're going to do the same marketing things again, you should probably tweak it, or you should just straight up consider doing different marketing things. But you can also use your KPIs to just make adjustments to your marketing over time. For example, if you see that your open rates to your email newsletters are low, like under 20%, then you definitely want to start experimenting with new subject lines. Or if the click rate on the landing page that's attached to your ads is low, then you clearly want to make adjustments to that landing page. But overall, and in general, your KPIs are going to show you where you are on track and where you are off track. And that helps you make really smart decisions about what you're going to do moving forward. Now, if you want to try tracking your KPIs at Enji, then you can start a free 14-day trial, or you can just log into your account at enji.co. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments for me to answer.